Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today we'll be doing 50 tips and tricks in the forest. First one is when you put a platform on a cliff, it turns into a platform on the cliff, whatever you want to call it. Tip 2, when you put a rabbit cage in the water, it turns into a fish trap. Sorry, I meant rabbit trap. It turns into a fish trap which you then build in the water. Better to put it in ponds where there's fish. In survival, when putting a food rack down, cannibals will come to it and try and steal food, so try and put it in a shelter where they can't get it, or anywhere where they just can't get it. In survival, when putting a campfire down, cannibals will come to the fire and see what's happening at least once. Basically, when you put a fire down like this, or any of these, they will come at least once to check it out, so be careful. When putting a garden in a cave, you can plant mushrooms and something else I don't quite remember. Stick fences, bone fences, and rock walls all have health. Stick is the easiest to break by cannibals and you. Bone is the second easiest to break, and third is rock wall is the third easiest to break. So basically, the rock wall is better for protection, I guess. Defensive wall spikes increases your building that you put it on by 43%, I'm pretty sure. Small beds is the only bed that you can make in the game. With a fish rack, if you put any source of food on here by pressing square on PS4, putting it on will put the meat into dried food, so you can carry it in your inventory and eat it whenever you want without having to go spoil it. But if you do die and spawn at the plane, it will go spoil or fresh. You can duplicate logs very easily. All you need is one, but having two is better. You just spam X and circle like this. You'll duplicate 3, which then you'll have to put 2 back in the basket and put that log for whatever you're trying to build. Also, the person hosting the game cannot duplicate logs, only the person that's in the game that isn't hosting. Alright, next, yeah, we'll do that in your world, in my world, because, yeah. Alright, we'll show them this one. Don't go this. Alright. You can duplicate a ton of logs just by saving. Host has to save their game. As soon as they save their game, 2 seconds right after they press X. Wait, no, I'm just going to say that. If you're trying to duplicate logs and you're frustrated for only having to duplicate one, there's an easier way to duplicate more. First, frustrated of having to duplicate one log each time you duplicate, there's an easier way to duplicate more logs. First, the host of the game has to go to any base and save. Once they press the save button, which is X, 2 seconds after they press X, they tell the person duplicating to spam X and circle at the same time. Go. Once the person is spamming X and circle, once the saving is done, you'll realize that there will be a ton of logs on the ground, which then you can use to put wherever you want. You can duplicate more than you see, depending on how fast you spam X and circle. Just reminding that host cannot duplicate logs. When making a temporary shelter, you can save as many times as you want, but as soon as you sleep, the thing will break in the morning, as you see. So, we'd recommend making a hunting shelter, or a log cabin, or a small cabin, whatever you want. When capturing rabbits in a rabbit trap, you can put them in a rabbit cage. If you have more than 2, they will start breeding once you sleep in game. Overnight, out of trees and can't find in trees, no worries. Simply go to options, go to gameplay and turn regrowing trees on, then go to sleep in game. Once you wake up, you'll find that there is more trees in the area for you to hit down. Only hosts can turn this rule on. Don't you hate when people or cannibals try and destroy your bases by hitting them? Well, there's a simple solution that you can do so they can't break it. Simply go to options, go to gameplay, and then turn allow building destruction off. Once off, so no one can ever break your buildings. They can't even use the hole cutter to break it, it just won't work. You can tie logs to a zipline and get it from A to B, but you can only do it when one zipline is higher than the other. Like you see, this ground is higher than the other one. If you try and put logs, tie logs to there, it just won't work. You can only do it on that side depending on the ground level. Putting a structure like this or anything that goes high, wondering how you're going to get up it, simply go scroll through the book till you find a climbing rope, walk up to the front of the house or whatever, put a rope there and then build it. It's pretty simple. I'm gonna be doing a lot of snapping. Yeah, like when I'm editing the video. I'm gonna be doing a lot of snapping in the video. Like, cause I've messed up so many times. You know when just cut the video down. To put this bit in, yeah. We don't need a key. Is your house dark? That's no problem. Simply scroll to your book until you find a ceiling skull lamp, or a bone chandelier. Simply build them and you'll see how your lights up. Your house lights up. This one is the best one, I'd say, in my opinion. Don't have any good weapons and scared of the cannibals, don't worry. Simply put any of these traps down and make your custom like this. Simply just build a whole bunch of fences.
Once you're done building this,
just stand here and watch the cannonballs come rolling in and just die of the trap.
It takes a lot to realize.
When making a wall out of fully custom buildings, like custom walls and custom foundations and etc., it will warm the whole house, so you don't need to wear a warm suit anymore. Think you're good at shooting with your bow? Try this. Put a wood target and bone fences, then try and shoot one of the holes. It can be quite tricky. When standing still for a certain amount of time, a bird might fly on your hand at some point. Sadly, I couldn't capture this because a bird would not fly on my hand. Water collectors are a good source for water. When it rains, the water will fall into the water collectors and is a good way to have clean water if you're living in a place where there's not really any ponds nearby. Tired of carrying a whole bunch of sodas, snacks or medkits? No problem, just go in your book and make a large or small cabin, then put everything you want in there, which then now you can go wander around and get more stuff. Carrying too much armor on you? No problem, just open your book and find an armor stand. Once you find it, put whatever skins you want on there so now you can get more. When building a treehouse, be careful, because on day 7 or something there's a mob called the Armsy which will hit trees down. So be careful, because if it hits a tree, it'll take the tree down with your treehouse. Try and build it in a base that an Armsy can't get in. When scrolling through your book, you'll find an SOS sign you can place on the ground, but sadly no one really does come for you, so it's just basically a waste of rocks. Wondering what day you're on in survival or creative? Simply just open your book and scroll all the way down till you see stats. Once clicking on stats, you'll see everything here, including the days survived. When running around, if you realize that your stamina is down and you can't make a bench, just simply drink a soda or a snack or eat any food. Don't drink booze as it lowers your energy, or just play a cassette tape and gain your energy on the run. You can also make an energy mix, which I sadly cannot show you. Sorry, people. When placing a rabbit trap, when a rabbit gets caught, and once you take it out, you can put it in a rabbit cage. If you have more than 2, they will start breeding rabbits when you sleep. Can I just explain shit fucking English? When capturing a rabbit in a rabbit trap, if you put them in a rabbit cage, if you have when capturing rabbits in a rabbit cage, you can when capturing a rabbit in a rabbit when capturing rabbits in a rabbit trap, I lost it. Hate when cannibals or people join your game and try and build your buildings. No, try and build your buildings with fuck off, you cunt. Once saving, when they spam X and circle, which I can go now. Once they spam X and circle, once you're finished, I need to re-explain that. I struggled so much.